The views and opinions expressed in this content are that of a continuously evolving nature and are subject to change as humanity evolves into higher states of awareness.
I like to get up in the morning and go through these, and at night time I like to do my gratitude. So I look at my day and as I give thanks for whatever's happened that day. There's so many things. For instance, if you went outside and you saw a bumblebee on a flower, you know, how wonderful that is, or a sunset. It's not, my blessings are simple things. And I think we're all so blessed. If we've got a home and a bed and food in our bellies, you know, and we've got warmth and we've got our family, we are so rich. I don't think riches is money at all. I think, you know, the more you realise and give thanks for this, everything falls in your lap what you need. And, you know, my friend went on a crystal course and she couldn't afford to park the car, but she had to park it in the multi-storey, and because she couldn't get in the free car park, and she only had £3 on her. But as she's walking towards the car, she says to her angels, well, how am I going to get the car out the car park? And she tripped, and there on the floor was a £5 note. No more, no less. Miracles, you know, but it does happen. And I did ask her if I could tell you of that, and she gave permission. So anyway, one of the things that I do every day, and I like to do this if I can, I don't do it every day, but I do it most days, and it's one of my favourites, so I'll read it out to you, and you might like to copy it. It says, "Beloved, I am presence. Walk through me. Open the door of understanding, so I may become increasingly aware of the perfection of the new earth, and of my Father, Mother God's golden flame of divine enlightenment, which is now blessing all people and all life at all times. As I am growing in awareness, may my quietening mind push through the density of materialism into enlightened spiritual consciousness of my I am presence. In this enlightened state of awareness, let my sense of gratitude expand into a welcoming smile, a friendly greeting, and extending light. May I look upon all persons with the eyes of love, knowing each as my friend, my brother or sister, and not as a stranger, with the realization my I am presence will spread its radiant light through my heart flame to everyone I meet. O loving mind, thank you for the discovery that the consciousness of enlightenment and divine intelligence lives within every person. May the light of truth illuminate my mind as I grow in greater awareness that I am a beloved child of God, and that all my Father, Mother God has is my divine birthright. Beloved, I am presence. As I place my hand in yours to travel this earth's journey, guide me into doing the simple things that bring happiness to others. Show me how to give wisely of myself and my talents to areas where they are truly needed and acceptable. Let me say with conviction, I can and I will, as my thoughts dwell on the ascending spiral of right thinking, right feeling and right action. As I can and I will become a part of my enlightened consciousness, I open wide the gates of divine power within my immaculate, victorious, threefold heart flame. Thank you for the blessings that are mine. Thank you for the opportunity that's come my way. May I ever praise and bless, give and receive, love and be loved, and rejoice in knowing that the light of God is eternally victorious, and I am that light. I am one with all that is, and I rejoice in this glorious truth. And so it is, I am that I am. And that really gels with me. And it just gets me into the frame of mind when I go anywhere, that I see everybody with a smile and a love. And I share that with you. I hope you could maybe copy it. I did it slow enough for you to follow and copy down. So I do these affirmations all the time. And if you count your blessings, I meet a lot of people who say, oh, but you don't understand, my life is terrible. I've got this, and I've got this problem and that problem. And I say, well, you're so rich. And they said, oh, no, I'm not rich. So I said, well, have you got eyes that you can see? Yes. Have you got legs that you can walk with? Yes. Can you go outside and see the sunset? Yes. Have you got a bed? Have you got a home? Are you warm? I said, see how rich you are. I said, count your blessings, because we have so many. And we make ourselves miserable by thinking we haven't got anything when you actually have got such a lot. And you think of these dear mothers that are carrying their babies across sands, deserts, and got no home. They're standing up with what they've got. And they've been bombed out of their places. Saying, look how rich you are. We live in this wonderful country of ours, and all the blossom on the trees at the moment is coming out, and the flowers. And I said, England is such a beautiful place, and we're so fortunate, and we're free in this country. We're free to do your spiritual work, and we're not burnt on fires anymore for being called witches. Although I don't know whether you know, but if somebody says I'm a witch, I say, well, that's such an honour that you've given me. And I said, because that means, what witch means, wise one, she who has great knowledge. I said, so that's a real compliment when you call me that. So there you go, I'll pass that one on to you. So affirmations, yes, I believe in affirmations, and I believe it gives you discipline. I think it keeps you in touch. And when I do those affirmations, I stop and think about each word sometimes and just give thanks for this being put into my hands. And I have lots of different ones. So it's getting a bit dark now, darling, so I think we ought to go and have a meal, don't you? Yes? Yes? And when I was in Circle, they used to open up and they'd say, Our Father who art in heaven, and I'd go deep. Couldn't move. It was incredible. But Judith, she'd come out of her body, and she asked once if she could see us as we really were. And she said, when she saw me, she said, from your solar plexus, there was light coming out of your solar plexus, and you built a vortex in the middle of the circle. And then all that light went to different people, different colours in the circle. Yeah. And so that was my job. But I could always hear everything. I was quite lucky. I couldn't move. It was amazing.
Similar experiences.
Yes, absolutely amazing.
Yeah. I think when we draw energy as well, when we channel things, that comes deep through us as well when we let go. Yeah. I know when I do my Reiki, I channel from the nothingness.
Yes.
And I've had people say that they open vortexes, there's literally vortexes open around me, going into my higher heart as I'm doing Reiki, and then putting that energy through other people as well, which is pretty impressive.
Yes, yeah. It's amazing, isn't it? But she actually was showing us as we really are as well, not without our bodies. And she said, "You're magnificent." She said, "You'd never be frightened of anything." She said, "If you can really see what you are, the God part of you, is incredible." And she said, "But she said you all have a necklace around your necks, and it's diamonds, and everybody's got a name, a main name. Like we've got Jesus is Lord Solander. He's known as Lord Solander throughout the universe, right? Everywhere. So when you pass over, you've got a name, and that name everybody knows about. So that was quite interesting. But she was not allowed to remember our names, because what's our name? She said, they've taken it away. I can't remember. They won't allow it. You know, they put a veil up there.
Yeah.
But she said it's like a diamond necklace around every person.
Fantastic.
And she was quite impressed with what she saw. I remember telling us that, and that was amazing. But we had a few bits in that circle which were fantastic. You know, it's hang on, let me think of some. We had all sorts. We had ordinary people come, little boys. There was a little boy who died on a beach, and he was quite concerned because he was told he shouldn't go in the sea. He went in the sea, and his mummy was there, and she went in the ambulance, and he couldn't follow her. And he was very frightened. He was walking up and down the beach. It got dark, and we took him to the lamppost, and there was a lady under the lamppost, and she was a neighbour. He said, "Oh, she's died," and we told him to go to the lady, and she took him to the light. But how many children are walking up and down, or people that are trapped? I think rescue work is fantastic if you can do rescue work.
That's a whole different level.
Absolutely, I think that's incredible work if you can do that.
Yeah.
But we did a few rescues in Circle. I loved it. But I've been in 2 or 3 circles, you know. I was with Jill Harrison. She was an angel. She channeled all the angels, and she also channeled Mary Magdalene. And Mary Magdalene came through one day, and she said to me, she said that when you go to Cornwall, she said, I want you to find a church. And when you find this church, you'll know why I'm sending you there. That's all I was given. So we went to Cornwall, and it was raining one day. So I said to Mike, "Well, shall we go and see if we can find this church?" So I mean, there's loads of churches in Cornwall, but I just saw this church, and it was raised up from the road. And we went into the car park, and Mike said, "Well, I'm not going in the church. I'll stay here with my paper." And I went into the church, and it was raining. But this church was really old, and I thought, well, it won't be open. You know, they don't have churches open, but it was. And as you went in, you had a door, then you had a passageway, then you had another door, and both of them were open. And I went in this church, and it was very dark inside. And it was a very old church. They even had a knight, on a burial night, one of the Knights Templars, I think. Anyway, it was very old, and I looked around, I couldn't find anything. I thought, well, is this the right church, Mary Magdalene? Because I can't see anything. And just as I was leaving, I turned round, and there was this picture of Mary Magdalene on the wall, huge. And you always can tell her because she has a skull at her feet. And she had the skull, and I said, well, that's Mary Magdalene. So anyway, there was a little plaque, and it said that this had been donated to the church a very long time ago, but they didn't know who the lady was. So anyway, I went out, and I met Mike coming up the driveway. I said, "Come and have a look in here, Mike, and see what you can see." So as I say, it was raining, so he came in and went through one door to the other, and you finally found it. You saw it. Mike found it, and he said, "Oh, that's Mary Magdalene." And then we saw a book, and it said, "Make a comment" in the book. So we wrote in the book that I'm a medium, and your picture that you don't know who the lady is, it's Mary Magdalene. And she came and told me to come here and to tell you that the picture is her.
Wow.
So we left that, because you know who Mary Magdalene is to the church, you know. And anyway, as we were going out, we couldn't believe it. nobody came in the church but us, and there was this great big feather, white feather, right in the middle of that passageway where we'd been walking back and forth.
Thank you very
And
much.
it was dry, wasn't wet. So we went back to the circle and we told everybody, oh, we found the church and we got the right, you know, it's amazing how you're sent on errands like that.
Yeah.
I've had a few of those and it's nice. We all do our little bit, this is the thing.
The magical mystery
Yes,
to it.
and everybody's different, nobody's the same. So you find your essence and it really is quite something when you do it and it works. You know, it's best thing in the world. You'll never be bored with this. I'd find something new every day.
Yeah.
You know, it's never boring. And in fact, I'm at the stage where I would just do it all the time. Life gets in the way now because I just love it so much. And I have done for quite a few years.
What do people have to do to see these realities?
Yeah.
What do you have to do?
Just
Yeah.
follow them. Go in. There's a flow,
It's just-
a rhythm to everything.
Yeah, but it happens. They put it in your particle. This has come about. You know, you don't have to do anything. It's your next step. You know, and they plonk me in places to meet people. So I just go with the flow now. I just say, okay, what are you going to do with me today? And, you know, we always get a parking place. You know, that's another thing.
Pretty much what we've done today.
Yes, it's
to
just...
come and meet you people. And,
Yeah,
and we're mainly, obviously, on our
Yeah.
journeys going around meeting fabulous people
Yeah.
with insights and
Can you
different
talk-
stories.
yeah.
Can you talk more about the parking angels?
Oh, the parking angels, yeah. I thought I talked about the parking
I
angels.
don't think I've put it on yet.
No.
I think I skipped that bit out. So talk about it.
Oh, right. When I first came into this, I heard about the parking angels. So we started doing them and it worked. And I said to Mike, because Mike wasn't into this then, I said, we can park the car, you know, use the parking angels. And it was just before Christmas and we went up to, they call it French Gate now, but it was Arndale in those days. And there's a line of traffic just before Christmas. And I said, I want to park in this certain place, because I always park there. And that's where I've ordered it. So we're coming up and we could see it, the parking place I want, but of course got a car in there. So Mike said, well, there's a car in there, Anne. And I said, we haven't got there yet. Just wait a minute, you know, wait till we get there. And very slowly the cars were going round that way, you know, to the left. And just as we came up to our bit, a man got into the car, moved out, rolled the window down and said, I've got a 3-hour ticket here and I've only used 2 hours or 10 minutes on it. And we got a free parking and 3 hours of parking. Because those days you put money in the machine and you got a ticket and put it on your dashboard. So anyway, you know, that was the first one. And then, the second one was San Francisco. Because in San Francisco it's very foggy all the time, misty. And we happened to land when it was a very clear day. And our friend, Di, she said, I'm going to take you up the hill so you can see the whole of San Francisco. But it very rarely happens. So we get in the car and I said, can we stop and have a look properly? Because the cars are going around very slowly. And she said, oh no, there's only a few parking places. I think 7 or 8 parking places. She said, you never get that, she said. If you get a parking place in San Francisco, you talk about it, you say, I got a parking place once. They say, you never did, you know. So I said, I'll order it from the angels. And so I did. I said, could you give us a parking place, please, so we can look at the whole of San Francisco and that awful prison that they have, Alcatraz. And, of course, as we were going up, there was cars parked, obviously. And then one pulled out and we pulled in. And I'll tell you what, Di now uses the parking angels.
Yeah.
She'd been there 12 years and she'd never met anyone who'd got a parking place there in all that time, she told me. I was absolutely amazed.